So, good morning, Vicky, again. Beautiful Saturday.
Good morning, my friend.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm fantastic today. You know what? Today we are already in a month. Have you realized this?
Yes, a month.
We have been in a month on YouTube. So I would like to start, before starting with this episode, I would like to say thank you to all our Versus Visionaries that have left their comments, and I'm very happy
about it. They subscribe to the channel.
Yes, they subscribed. And I think that, my friend, we are like getting into our purpose with this, right?
When faced with the simple question, right? What's your purpose? Most people unleash a laundry list of tangible targets.
Yeah.
You know, snagging that promotion, or a new car or a new iPhone. Yeah. But people usually, what is your purpose? People are saying, oh, my purpose is, to get promoted. My purpose is to do that, right? But let's not forget that ambitious plans of launching, anything or doing anything, they have much more underneath, right?
Yes.
The heart of purpose isn't just about the surface level to-dos. It's about revealing the deep-rooted drive that fuels every move. On the flip side, right, the goals are like, those kind of action items, right? We all have our to-do list every day. And
what we want to achieve.
Right.
What we want to achieve.
What we want to achieve, right? And they are tangible. They are like tangible checkpoints that scream to us, you are on the right track, right? Yeah. So these concrete outcomes and milestones that pave our way towards our grand aspirations, actually, they really need to be boosted, and they really need to come from within. And that is the purpose. Why we are doing, what are we doing every day?
Yeah. Why are you getting up?
Why are you getting up? So the purpose is the why, right? While the goals, the real why, while the goals are the what. In between, we have the how. And I think that later on, we are going to talk about it, right?
Yes.
So to our dreamers and our visionaries, let's start to build back some layers and uncover some whys, right?
Yes.
And I'm really a big fan of the seven layers deep why exercise.
Oh, I love it. It's so
powerful, I love it, yes.
Right? Because you go to the root, to the real, to the real and deepest why of your life.
Exactly. And for today, actually, I'd like to take as exercise, doing the seven layers deep why. Our Versus podcast being an outcome. So the podcast, which everyone is looking at, and we are very thankful for that. Actually, it's an outcome coming from a very, very deep why. Yeah. So let's start with the first why. Why we created Versus Harmony and Contrasts?
Well, because we like the idea of having like a place, a podcast, something to share our ideas, right?
Yes.
Because we see also we had the opportunity of doing it together. The question would be why we wanted to share our experiences and why we wanted to do it together.
That's a very good question. And I'm gonna answer like this. I think we wanted to share our experiences because, first of all, there are very different experiences having commonalities as the root cause, right? And through sharing our life stories, actually, I believe that we are expressing some lessons, life lessons to others to benefit for. And the reason why we are doing this together is because because we are so different, but when we come together, we have this kind of chemistry, and we complete so well each other that our life lessons combined, actually, they're very rich.
Yeah, it's true. Because we also receive a comment that says that we are so funny. So thank you so much for that.
Of course we are funny. Life should be funny, right?
Yes.
So therefore, why we believe that our stories and learned lessons might be useful for others, Vicky?
Well, because because we went through so many stories, right? So many past experience, how so many things happened to us. And at that time, we didn't have this blueprint on how to deal with our specific situations. So we believe that sharing our stories can be helpful to fast the track of personal growth. Yes, to show a way so people do not need to spend like 10 years like me to find that really why.
Why having a blueprint and guidance is important, right?
Mm-hmm.
My why is that I'm addressing, things like being myself 20 years ago, right? So imagine that someone being 20 years younger than I am is listening, is tuning to what we are saying, and is saying, oh, okay, so finding my purpose, 7 layers deep. If this is a method, why not apply it now and not 10 years later, right?
Exactly.
So I think, having a blueprint and guidance is important because you can save time, and not that you are not going to do your own mistakes, you're going to do it. But at least some of the obstacles which you might face, right?
Or even you can avoid half of them, right?
Exactly.
At
yeah.
least.
So I think the question, the next why, is that why is important that people will navigate with additional perspective, because we are bringing perspective from me 20 years ago, you 10 years ago, right? So why is going to be important that they are taking this perspective in?
Well, because I think they can create a much sooner positive impact in their life. Having this new perspective could enhance their ability to take action sooner, to do things, and not getting like 10 years to get them to have the consciousness. They can save much time, precious time, that is something that cannot go back, So, and they can start creating this impact in their life right now.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead.
my next question would be like, why is important to create this positive impact, right?
That is a very deep-rooted question, because I think each and every individual is coming with an impact in their own life, but in the life of others, right?
Yes.
Create a positive impact, it's like the legacy, right? And legacy is something which, like, you leave behind. Think about the young generations right now, right? Someone like you or I, 10, 20 years ago, right? Understanding the things, taking some learnings, fast tracking them, they will be able to create much faster that impact. And the legacy of a generation is going to be visible in a positive positive impact coming much faster, right? So I think having this kind of extraordinary potential, right, to create a legacy and to create an impact, it's something extremely powerful, right?
Yes. Even because I would like to think, when I'm about to leave this planet, what would I like be remembered by?
True.
And that's the legacy. What do you want to live in this world when you go away, when you live this life?
Coming with my own stories, my own experiences, boosted by knowledge, it's the kind of legacy which I really want to leave for generations to come. I also believe that, you know, when I'm thinking about my childhood and how I was brought up, right? I wish that I had the opportunity to learn or to fast track some of the things, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not, you know, I don't regret anything from my life. Actually, I'm extremely grateful for the kind of experiences, the people I've met in my life. And my legacy is to really represent who I am and leave behind this kind of like, you know, learning and knowledge to people, to really take it on for long term and long time.
Beautiful.
My mom, I think, is going to be proud of me too.
She's already proud of you.
Yeah. So this is my personal why. Let's talk a bit about yours.
My why comes from the fact that I would really like to be a mom. No.
Yes.
And when think about this, it's so much responsibility to bring a child and what I'm going to teach to that child. So life has been like sending me this message that that I was hiding, you know, for the fact that I didn't feel I was conscious enough to bring a child to this world. So my real why is that I want to prove myself that I can be that conscious mother that can raise a child in a different way. As you said, maybe we didn't have the experiences in our childhood that we wished to or we needed to. So I want to become that person. And in order to be able to do it, in my mind, is like, I need to prove myself that I can do it. So my why is so powerful that it keeps me like getting up from that bed in moments even when I don't want to. And it keeps me like going ahead and focused even when a lot of things are coming to distract us, you know, the mermaid singings. And I said, no, I have a why and I have a purpose. This is my purpose. And I'm not going to get distracted, even because my time, my biological time is running, you know. That's why I'm here and I'm getting out of my comfort zone and I will do everything to prove myself that I'm that person.
I love your why. And I think that the beauty is that our individual whys, you know, they might be different, right? But even it might be different at first glance, they are so very similar, right?
Yeah.
In so many
they're the same because we both want to leave this legacy and this blueprint for new generations.
Yeah. So I think that knowing our why is essential for living a purpose-driven life, right? Yes. And as a conclusion, I think, you know, the exercise which we just did, you know, the 7 layers why, it's a very useful and we encourage you to do it. And I think this is going to be one of the actions for today. But I also would like that we recommend couple of very good books. And I think one of the authors writing, you know, starting with why, finding why, Simon Sinek. I really love the way how he's explaining, you know, the why, your purpose, the how. It's all about how you do it. You do it with courage, with creativity. You do it with intent, with passion, right? And after that, you know, he's talking about the what, the objectives, you know, those kind of like milestones which we plan. But to that, I also would like to add the 4th direction, and that direction is where, right? Because understanding your purpose, knowing how you do it, and the motivation coming, right, from within, and having your milestones. The big question is, where are you going, right? Yeah. And understanding that, where are you going, your aspiration, and that kind of like, you know, vision, I think is as important as like understanding your why.
Yeah,
So
because if you just understand your why, but then you don't do anything,
yes, yeah.
what are you going to do with your why? You need to go out and do something about it.
Simon is saying your why is the most important thing in your life. It's your purpose, right? It's the reason you do what you do. It's the reason you keep going when things are getting tough. Right, so it's a very simple, it's a very simple concept, though so very insightful. Vicky, do we have any kind of other resources to give to our Versus Visionaries, or we are just going to go straight to our message to the universe?
Well, let's go to the universe and then we think about it. Maybe this is going to help because this week we have Venus that is highly active, you know. She's going to connect with Chiron, with Uranus, with Neptune, with Pluto, with Lilith. So we cannot take advantage of this week, all this Venusian energy, and go and look for our passions. Go to connect with your heart, with our heart, you know. She's going to enter Leo. Leo is our heart. Is what is that flame that yes, it would be you and me this year too. This year I'm a Leo. So Venus entering Leo, and with all these connections we can start like growing this passion inside. Go and look for it. If you don't know yet what you like, what you don't like, what would you like to do, this is the time to do it. Go and look for your talents, what you really like, what makes your heart like beat faster, you know. Some activities that when you do them you start like creating beautiful things, because the energy of Leo just wants to share his own heart with the world. And that in fact is our why, something that comes from our heart, and we want to spread it, all this light. So it would be a beautiful week to take advantage of this energy, and even do it as an exercise, you know. Write a list of all the things that I really like, and even going back in time, what I used to do before that was like burning inside of me, all this creativity, all this passion, and bring it back.
Yeah.
What about you?
Connect with the heart desires, as we like saying, you know, what kind of activities you lose track of time, right?
Exactly.
It's the reading, it's like drawing, it's like, you know, scribbling things on a journal, right?
Yes.
Because asking yourself why do you like that, actually, and applying seven layers deep, it might reveal a much deeper purpose, right? And also I think, you know, the other thing which can like really start, you know, shaping your why is doing this exercise, asking why all the time, why you are doing what you are doing, why I'm gonna be signing up for that course, why I want to get promoted, right?
Yes.
You know, applying this, I think people will learn that what drives them, it's very different than what has been articulated in the first time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They will be surprised.
They will be surprised. And there is another model. Actually, I somehow invented this model. It's called PIPA model, like PIPA, right? Okay. It's about passion, inspiration, purpose, aspiration, right?
Okay.
It's a very nice model, starting with really reflecting about your passions, right? After that, trying to think what inspires you. What inspires you can come from various sources, right? You can have people to whom you are looking up. You can have like, you know, a poetry which you are like reading. You have like a painting, like nature, right? But after that, you know, combining passion and the inspiration and start, you know, really asking the whys around the purpose, right? It's very powerful because you already know so much about yourself, right?
Yes.
And after that, you can really think, saying that what I'm doing with this purpose, what I'm doing with this passion, what my aspiration, my long-term aspiration is. Because an aspiration is not something which you are having like for a year or two. It's something which is long-term. It's that kind of North Star which you are like, dreaming going, right?
Okay.
So dear visionaries, thank you so much for tuning in today. Like us, dislike us, subscribe. Again, much grateful for all the subscriptions which we are getting like every day. And if I'm about to articulate a call to action for you guys, is that take one thing in your life which you like, a goal in your life, and try to understand why you are doing it. Apply the 7 layers deep why, and you're gonna be surprised about your findings.
Yes.
If you care sharing with us, go connect with us on YouTube, leave a comment, and share the brilliant discovery which you just made applying this method. So by next Saturday, big love to our Versus Visionaries, and
harmonizing the contrast.
Harmonizing contrast.
Friend,
Ciao, Vicky.
have a beautiful week. See you next Saturday.
See you next Saturday, my friend. Bye.